Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you, hopefully, a short one. Just to be real for a second. About a week ago, GW made an announcement that they're raising prices again. They probably have reasons. As a consumer, I don't think many of them will sound good to me, right? Um, don't really care if it's only 4%. Uh, I think I don't think happy thoughts about it, right? But what does that have to do with Tyranids? Because there's a couple of things I want to talk about Tyranids specifically relating to price increases and why it annoys me a little bit more. If you haven't seen the notice, let's talk about it together real quick. A quick note on prices. From October 6, 2025, some prices in Warhammer stores and on Warhammer.com will be changing. On average, prices will rise by about 4%, but the exact amount will vary by product. Some will change a little more, some a little less. The prices of many products, including paint, sprays, and paint sets, aren't changing at all. We're sharing this now so you've got time to make any purchases you've been planning at today's prices. My problem number one comes with that last sentence. We're sharing this now so you've got time to make any purchases you've been planning at today's prices. Except, GW, you have a fair reputation of not stocking the new things the way you should have or implementing methods to prevent scalpers. And here comes the other thing with scalpers. Scalpers gonna scalp. So they will eat 4% per box more and then sell it to everybody else for 25% more, or so on and so forth. Now, this next one isn't per se scalping, I guess. Kinda is, kinda not in the worst sense, I guess. But of course, I want to talk about the Raveners that came out in air quotes. So, for those of us that love Subterranean Assault, or for those of us Tyranid players, and those of you who really love Subterranean Assault, not to say I have anything against it, just not my favorite thing. Literally, that's it, that's all. But, you know, this has been a unit that is more or less needed. Very wanted, technically playable without, not many people love it without, okay? $65, but you can't fucking buy it anywhere. Can't get it from GW, as we can see. If you did, nice job, I guess. Like in this like small order, I know quite a few of us. Not quite a few. I know few of us. Were able to buy the big kill team box, so that's something, I guess. But past that, this going up while not being available is annoying. That is to say, if it goes up, right? I don't have the exact things. Technically, this might stay the same if they're like, hey, yeah, kill teams are staying the exact prices that they are, right? That's something. The other thing about this is I was like looking for alternative places. Now, if your local game store has them, hey, you might want to pick them up, okay? But for me, that doesn't really have a local game store in my area anywhere close. Like, I'm looking at least 30 to 40 minutes out, realistically. Looking online at eBay, I only saw one store listing, and they had them at $70 a pop. So I guess there's technically some scalping there in a sense, right? It's not the discounted price that you would like to see from not buying from GW. But thankfully it's not $80 a box or something like that. I guess, right? Is that a plus side? Is it a plus that they're not scalping harder? Who knows? Um or I mean I'll let you decide on that one. That's a talking point in itself. Where it's like how hard is scalping how mad How bad does the scalping have to be before somebody gets mad about it, I guess. But to the Raveners, they are pretty elusive for quite a few people. And the price going up, that's annoying. That's annoying. And I feel for the comments that haven't had a chance to play Subterranean Assault because they're newer. And they aren't sitting on a collection of old Ravener models to proxy with. Right? That's what I feel for. And also, pretty sure the base size went down, right? So there's that. But that said, I guess if you're a newer player, you can find enough of the old Raveners if you really gotta scratch that itch before you can find these. Now, that's talking about something new that's out of stock. Let's talk about something that's old that is constantly also out of stock. Now, I admit I haven't looked at the Trygon availability for the last 2 or 3 months, I guess. So maybe the last 2 or 3 months it was there. But I know when I was looking for another Trygon before Subterranean Assault came out, it wasn't here. So I can only imagine that it continued that trend as soon as Subterranean Assault came out. Uh, so you have something old that also isn't readily available. Then we have the Trygon. Okay. Oh, sorry, the price of the Trygon. At $92 currently for an old kit that might be going up nearing $100 per model to get the entry level of Subterranean Assault really strikes a chord with me. When you can't find the shit and it's going to $100 a figure, like this is already $100 with taxes realistically, right? Uh, then if this gets raised again, technically not every model could be raised. I guess if we want to be super about it, on average, some will change a little less, some a little more, some a little less, right? I guess technically there's a chance that it doesn't. But will they have it in stock? Is the next question. Or will I be faced with, once again, the thing that it's been seen on eBay? Now, I will say I have found a fair number of Trygons on Amazon from time to time. So, if you feel like tangling with Amazon, there you go. There's something right there. Sometimes I didn't check before this recording. I only was checking eBay because I was kind of flabbergasted at the lack of entries. Because yeah, people are hanging on to their things because Tyranids have an attachment that everybody's having fun playing. Of course, it makes sense. But even then, usually there's enough people that are either getting out of the hobby or getting out of Tyranid specifically that I typically see better numbers for almost all of the Tyranids models, and I say almost all because of one of the next examples, the Maleceptor. For like a year, this shit was not in stock. Now I am terribly surprised that this is online only. Just it's available. Go ahead. Um, the price is $84 a pop. You can make a toxic crin out of it if you want. Right? Yeah, that's cool. Uh, that's the alternate kit, right? But hey, it's finally here, and that's the sunny side of this video, I guess. That remember, things will come and go out of the meta, so if you're fine playing the waiting game, eventually it should be available. But will that eventually come before another price raise or two? Right? So there is still some cynicism out of me for it, because this is It's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying, and I don't like seeing as many comments about how they are being priced out of the hobby. Uh, thankfully, uh, or for thankfully for some of us, we have a collection that doesn't necessarily need to be built further out. Like, yeah, I could use more Maleceptors. I could. Arguably could use more Toxic Cringe. Could. Um, but it's not. I at least have a Maleceptor and a Toxicrin to work with, and if I'm being honest, I've even sold a Maleceptor before. Two? I think I've sold two. Before. When nobody could find them. And if I'm being perfectly transparent, had a rough month financially one time last year. Well, at a point last year. So some things had to go. And those were the Maleceptors. So, it's. I don't want to see this hobby become Magic the Gathering where models are investments. That's fucked. If anybody doesn't understand what I mean by that, um, Magic. Now, I'm not a Magic player, so I can't give you the full depth of it. But I do remember seeing everybody melt down about the rules. And I was like, or some change that went through. And as my Magic playing friends described it to me, it was that people are treating cardboard like investments. And that's fucked. Kind of. I guess you could argue it's smart in some sense. That if you have enough insight, I guess you can make some bank off of it. But, like, are you not a pseudo scalper then, I guess? If you know that you're keeping this playset of cards just to sell it later when the trend goes up? I don't know. Um, kind of odd. Another can of worms that I'm not going to fully delve into because, frankly, as a on and off again Yu-Gi-Oh player, the price of hobbies hurts. The price of hobbies hurts. And furthermore, onto this one, just while we're talking about things coming and going, Wars of the Hive. Last time I talked about obtaining a Neurotyrant, I was a bit wrong on Cam. I was a bit wrong. Uh, got mine for cheaper at a time when they were in abundance, I guess. And then said something about that time, but turns out that wasn't the case anymore. And I just checked eBay to see again, and like a couple, another seller. I shouldn't say a couple other, because realistically it was one. Yeah, this is like, yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, I'm seeing the Neurotyrant going for $80 by itself. Oif. And as you can see, temporarily out of stock for this bundle that has not been separated nicely, right? Because let's just do this, right? Neurotyrant. Yep, as you can see, right? Steel locked this bundle here if you want to go through GW, and if not, yeah, you're looking at $80 for a fucking Neurotyrant, which is insane. And be careful on that too, because I will say this, I did see two cheaper listings. One of them, I'm not going to throw shade, but I'm not entirely sure it's our authentic GW product. It could just be bad lighting and pictures, but looked at it and I was just like, be careful. So here's that PSA too. Be careful buying secondhand. I know I've seen enough people ask me a question on if their product is legit or not, and I have to unfortunately go, no, I'm sorry, that's pretty 3D printed, unfortunately. Or I've heard enough horror stories of that too. So, don't get got if you can avoid it. Now, I only say that in the scheme of paying GW price for 3D printed shit. If you can get it for cheap and you don't care and it can look nice enough painted, fine, fuck it. Go for it. But especially in the case of something like a Neurotyrant, where I've seen quite a few 3D prints of it out there in the wild. And those are cheaper, usually. So try to be mindful of that. But if you can't tell under paint either, I'd say probably don't lose sleep over it, I guess, right? Uh, but yeah, this is it's all that feels bad when two of the heavy hitters of what has given some Tyranid players a new leash on life is both out of stock from GW and who knows when it will be back in stock and possibly at a higher price, while telling us, hey, if you were planning to make purchases at today's prices, do it now so we can finish out the quarter. I guess it's not the quarter. It wouldn't be the quarter, right? Yeah, it wouldn't be the quarter. But so we can make our numbers look a little bit prettier for stockholders at this time. While the world moves towards more and more inflation. So, bit of a Debbie Downer video, but also a conversation that kind of needs to be had because I've seen a few people say that Warhammer's just getting too expensive for them, so they have to tap out. And it's sad, and I only know bug prices and bug trends, really. I haven't really cared enough to look at the other ones, like secondary armies. I'm like, all right, if it's there, it's not. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. It is whatever. But for us over here in the bug camp, it I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm a little bit annoyed, and I want to hear how you all are handling it. If you have a local game store that's pretty good about keeping some of this stock or not, all of that jazz. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment from me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.